Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling Amazon Sagemaker Unified Studio.
Yeah, we're going to be like,
But we're focusing on the first 60 pages of the user guide,
yeah, the foundation.
the stuff that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Domain units, authorization policies, and setting up a project.
It's like,
So you're looking to master Sagemaker Studio.
we got to start with the basics.
This is like your cheat sheet, you know?
Yeah, and
You get up and running fast.
this stuff is way more interesting than you might think.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
We're talking about controlling access like down to the row and column level.
Ooh.
And even some hints about building AI apps right inside Sagemaker Studio.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's start with domain units.
Okay, so domain units are like,
What are those all about?
well, think of them as like isolated spaces for teams within a company's data landscape.
Okay.
Like each team gets its own little data kingdom with its own resources and security settings.
So like if I'm in marketing, I get my own data kingdom separate from, say, the finance team.
Exactly. Each domain unit has its own set of resources and, more importantly, its own security settings.
Oh, so this helps prevent like data leaks or someone accidentally deleting something.
Exactly. You don't want any of the, oops, I didn't mean to do that moment.
Yeah, data breaches are a nightmare for sure.
So yeah, domain units are a good way to prevent that.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have these data kingdoms.
Yeah.
How do we actually control who can do what inside them?
That's where authorization policies come in.
Yeah.
They're like the gatekeepers
For gatekeeper.
of your domain.
Right.
They decide who gets to access what and what they can do.
I see.
So if you need to stop someone from viewing sensitive customer data, for example,
Right.
authorization policies are how you do it.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got our kingdoms and our gatekeepers.
Yeah.
But where does the actual work happen?
That's where projects come in.
Okay.
Projects are like collaborative spaces inside a domain unit, where teams can work together on specific machine learning tasks.
So if we're sticking with this kingdom analogy, it's like
Right.
my team and I are all working on a project in a shared workshop.
Yeah, like a workshop inside your data kingdom.
Makes sense.
And each project gives you access to all the tools you need, like the data catalog, the query editor, you name it.
Oh, cool.
It's where the magic happens.
All right, so walk me through setting up one of these project workshops.
Sure.
What are the steps?
Well, the first step is choosing a name and a description for your project.
Okay, so no more Project X.
I mean, you could call it that.
Got it.
Something descriptive like customer churn prediction model.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Exactly. It's much more helpful for everyone involved.
Okay, so what's next?
Next, you need to choose a project profile.
Project profile.
Yeah, this determines what tools and resources will be available in your project. There are different profiles for different tasks like general machine learning or SQL analytics or even generative AI development.
Oh, wow. So the choices I make here really matter.
Oh yeah, big time.
Got it.
If you're building a computer vision model, for instance, you'd probably want a profile that gives you tools like TensorFlow and PyTorch.
Right.
Maybe even pre-configured GPU instances for faster training.
So no going back and changing this later, huh?
It's best to get it right from the start.
Okay, noted.
Then it's time to fine-tune some parameters.
What kind of parameters?
Well, you need to decide things like whether to create a new repository for your project
The repository.
or link it to an existing one.
So that's where our code and project files will live.
Exactly.
Right.
If you're starting fresh, then create a new one. But if you're building on previous work,
Right.
it's smart to link to an existing repository.
Okay, makes sense.
You also need to figure out how you want to manage data storage.
Data storage is important too.
Oh, yeah. The best option depends on how you and your team will be accessing and sharing data. For example, a massive data set might need a storage option that's optimized for performance, while sensitive data might need a more secure option.
That makes sense.
It's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
This is making me realize how much goes into setting up a project properly.
It's more than just clicking a button.
For sure.
But don't worry, before you actually hit that create button, you'll get a chance to review all your choices.
Okay.
The name, the description, the profile, the parameters, and make sure everything looks good.
Better to double check now than have to redo everything later.
Exactly.
Okay, so once we've reviewed everything and clicked create, our project is ready to go.
Almost. We've built the workshop, but we still need a team.
Right, our team of data scientists.
Exactly. That's where adding project members comes in.
How do we do that?
It's easy. You just go to the Manage Members section of your project, and you can add individuals or even whole groups.
Whole groups? That's awesome.
Yeah, it saves a ton of time if you have a big team.
Okay, and then what?
Then you assign each member a role. Either contributor or owner.
Ah, yes. Let's roll.
Remember we talked about those earlier?
Yeah, contributors can work on the project, but owners have more control.
Exactly. You want to make sure you choose the right role for each person to keep things secure and make sure everyone has the right level of access.
So it's all about balance.
Yeah, balance between collaboration and control.
Got it.
Once you've added your team and assigned their roles, then your project is ready to launch.
Awesome.
Your data kingdom is ready for action.
That's a great way to put it. Our data kingdom with its secure workshops and its talented team.
Ready to tackle any machine learning challenge.
All right. I'm excited to see what we can build.
Me too.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've built our project workshop.
Yeah, we've got our team.
Now it's time to explore the tools and resources that make Sagemaker Studio so powerful.
I'm ready.
All right, so one tool you'll be using a lot is the query editor.
Okay, the query editor.
It's like your command center for working with data. It lets you write and run queries using SQL.
Oh, SQL.
Yeah, one of the most common languages for data analysis.
So basically, I can use the query editor to ask questions about my data.
Exactly. You can run all sorts of queries from simple ones like counting records to more complex ones with joins, aggregations, and filters.
Now, the guide mentioned that the query editor works with both Amazon Athena and Amazon Redshift.
Right.
What's the difference between those two?
They're both query engines, but each one has its own strengths.
Okay.
Like imagine you need to analyze a huge data set really quickly, and it's stored in Amazon S3.
Okay.
That's where Athena really shines.
Why is that?
Well, it's serverless, so you don't need to manage any infrastructure.
Oh, that's nice.
And it can handle those quick ad hoc queries with no problem.
So if I need a fast answer, Athena is the way to go.
Exactly. But let's say you have a really massive data set that needs more complex queries or near real-time analysis. Then Amazon Redshift would be a better choice.
What's Redshift?
It's a fully managed data warehouse service. It's made for high-performance querying, and it can handle those really tough workloads.
So I can choose the engine that works best for my data.
Yep. And the cool thing about the query editor is you can switch between these engines super easily.
No way.
Even in the same session.
That's wild.
It's like having a sports car and a truck at the same time.
Nice analogy.
All right, so we've talked about querying data, but what about keeping it organized?
Yeah, that's important too.
The guide mentioned a data catalog.
The data catalog, what's that?
Think of it as like a library for all your data assets. It doesn't matter where they're stored. You can organize and manage everything in one place.
Oh, so instead of having data sets all over the place, I can bring them all together.
Exactly. It makes your data easy to find, easy to understand, and easy to access.
I like that.
You can search for specific data sets. You can get detailed information about them. You can even create business glossaries.
Business glossaries, what are those?
It's like a dictionary for your data.
A data dictionary?
Yeah, for example, if your data set has a column called Customer Lifetime Value, the business glossary explains what that term actually means in your business.
Oh, so everyone's on the same page?
Exactly. No more confusion about what the data actually represents.
That's really helpful.
It is, and it's a great way to ensure consistency across your organization.
Okay, so the data catalog sounds super useful for managing my own data. But what if I want to share data with others?
Then you'd use data products.
Data products?
Yeah, basically you package up your data insights and share them with other people in your organization or even externally. It's like curating a collection of valuable data and making it available to others.
Well, I can control who has access.
Absolutely. You can publish and unpublish your data products as needed.
So it's secure.
Very secure. And you can manage the entire process within Sagemaker Studio.
Wow, it's like having a data marketplace right inside Sagemaker Studio.
You got it. It's all about fostering data collaboration and maximizing the value of your data.
This is incredible. Sagemaker Studio has everything.
I know, right?
The query editor, the data catalog, data products.
It's a whole ecosystem.
For managing, exploring, and sharing data.
And the best part.
What's that?
It puts you, the user, in control.
I like that.
You have the power to manage your data and use it effectively.
Well, this has been super helpful.
Glad to hear it.
I'm feeling a lot more confident about data management in Sagemaker Studio.
That's great. And trust me, we've only scratched the surface.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. But before we move on to machine learning and generative AI, I want to emphasize one key point about what we've covered so far.
What's that?
Sagemaker Studio does a fantastic job of balancing collaboration and security.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance. You want teams to work together easily, but you also need to keep sensitive data safe.
For sure.
And Sagemaker Studio seems to have found the perfect balance.
Like a collaborative playground with a really good security system.
Exactly. And that's super important for anyone using Sagemaker Studio.
Definitely.
All right, so are you ready to go beyond data management and exploration?
Yeah, let's get into the machine learning stuff.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so we've explored our data kingdom, we've got our tools, we've assembled our team.
Now it's time for the really fun part.
The fun part.
Building, training, and deploying machine learning models.
I'm ready to become an AI wizard.
Well, Sagemaker Studio gives you everything you need to work that magic.
Awesome.
Let's start with Jumpstart.
Jumpstart.
It's like this massive library full of pre-built models and algorithms ready to use for all sorts of tasks.
So even if I'm not a machine learning expert,
Right.
I can still use Jumpstart to leverage the power of AI.
Exactly. You can deploy pre-trained models or fine-tune them with your own data.
And I don't even have to write any code.
Nope. It's like having an AI expert on call.
That's amazing.
But what if you do want to build your own models from scratch?
Yeah, what about that?
No problem. Sagemaker Studio integrates with Jupyter Lab.
Jupyter Lab.
Yeah, one of the most popular environments for data science and machine learning.
I love Jupyter Lab.
Me too. It's where you can write your own Python code experiment with different algorithms and build custom models.
So what's the advantage of using Jupyter Lab inside Sagemaker Studio?
Well, one of the biggest benefits is access to pre-configured environments.
Yeah, that's nice.
For different machine learning frameworks.
Yeah, setting up those dependencies and libraries can be a real pain.
It can take forever.
Yeah.
With Sagemaker Studio, you can skip all that and just start building and training.
I like the sound of that.
And speaking of training,
Yeah.
Sagemaker Studio makes it super easy to train your models.
Okay.
Whether you're using a single instance or a distributed cluster, it can handle it all.
Even massive data sets.
Even massive data sets. And once your model is trained,
Yeah.
you can deploy it as an inference endpoint.
Inference endpoint.
Yeah, so other applications and services can access it.
So my model can go from a Jupyter notebook to a production-ready service all in one place.
Exactly. It's the whole machine learning workflow in one platform.
That's pretty impressive.
But what about collaboration?
Collaboration is key, right?
Especially for big projects.
Yeah.
And this is where Sagemaker Studio really excels.
Okay, how so?
It has something called ML pipelines.
ML pipelines.
Yeah, think of them as automated workflows for your machine learning tasks.
Hmm.
You define a sequence of steps like data pre-processing, model training evaluation, and Sagemaker Studio takes care of the rest.
So instead of running each step manually,
Right.
I can create a pipeline that does it all for me.
Exactly. It's like having your own personal ML assistant.
And I can share these pipelines with my team.
Absolutely. Makes collaboration so much easier.
So we can build, train, and deploy models together using a streamlined automated pipeline.
Exactly. It's a game changer for teams working on complex ML projects.
This is amazing. But how do we keep track of all these models and experiments?
Don't worry, Sagemaker Studio has you covered. It has a model registry.
Model registry?
Yeah, it's a central place where you can store and manage all your models,
Okay.
along with their metadata and performance metrics.
So no more digging through folders trying to remember which model is which.
Nope. The model registry keeps everything organized. You can group your models, track different versions, and even compare their performance over time.
It's like a dream come true for data scientists.
It is, and it integrates with MLflow, too.
MLflow.
Yeah, a popular open source platform for managing the ML lifecycle.
So it makes the whole workflow even smoother.
Exactly. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Data management, model building collaboration, and even the model registry.
Well, you mentioned something earlier about generative AI.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the most exciting areas of machine learning right now.
It is.
And Sagemaker Studio makes it super accessible.
Okay, tell me more.
Imagine building applications that can generate text images, even music, like chatbots that can have natural conversations or tools that can create photorealistic images from text descriptions.
That sounds like science fiction.
I know, it's incredible. And you can build these kinds of applications right inside Sagemaker Studio.
Really?
Well, Sagemaker Studio lets you build generative AI apps using powerful foundation models.
Foundation models?
Yeah, they're trained on massive data sets, and they can do a ton of different tasks.
So I don't have to train my own models from scratch.
Nope. You can use these pre-trained foundation models as a starting point.
That's amazing.
And Sagemaker Studio provides tools for fine-tuning these models.
So I can customize them.
Exactly. You can make them even more powerful and tailor them to your specific needs.
This is mind-blowing.
But what about safety?
Yeah, that's a good point. Generative AI seems really powerful.
It is, and there are potential risks, but Sagemaker Studio includes safety features like guardrails.
Guardrails, what are those?
They're like safety mechanisms to prevent your AI acts from generating harmful or inappropriate content.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
They help ensure that your applications are ethical and responsible.
That's good to know.
So yeah, Sagemaker Studio has really thought of everything.
It sounds like it. From data management to model building to responsible AI.
It's a truly remarkable platform.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground.
I'm amazed by how much Sagemaker Studio offers and how it makes data science and AI accessible to everyone.
It's a game changer for sure. And for those listening, remember, this is just the beginning.
There's so much more to explore.
There's so much more.
So as we wrap up, I have one final thought for you to ponder.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine a world where generative AI is seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives. What kind of amazing applications would you build? And how would you use Sagemaker Studio to make those ideas a reality?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
The possibilities are endless.
They really are.
Yeah.
And Sagemaker Studio gives you the tools to turn those possibilities into reality.
Well said. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data and AI.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.